this tutorial, we are going to be using Vev to recreate the New York Times Style Magazine Book Club website. With Vev, we will learn how to achieve these falling images on the page, as well as how to enable this interactive scrolling functionality. By the end of this project, you will have built something with Vev that looks like this. So let's jump into it. So let's create our first project in Vev, which will be a clone of this New York Times Style Magazine Book Club site. So we'll do the first half of this site as it tends to repeat itself in terms of how it is interactive and animated after a while. So let's jump into Vev and create our project. We're going to start from a blank project and choose desktop first. We'll go ahead and give our project a title. And we'll change this Hush Puppy to home. And heading over to the New York Times site, I'm just going to use this Chrome extension to pick up the color of this background. And I'm going to add this to my background palette here. So zooming out a little bit, we're going to add our first section and change the background color to that blue. And now we are going to add in all of those falling images here. So we'll go here to Image, Open Image Library, and we're going to add those photos. And let's start adding them in. If we want, we can rotate some of these a little bit. And now I'm just going to select all of these images here, and using Command G, I'm going to group them together into a frame and call them Falling Books. And so right now, if we were to preview our page, nothing's happening. And that's because we need to add an animation to each of these images. So we're going to add on an animation, and we're going to create a preset first, which will be a falling book animation. And then we'll do a load animation that is custom. And we'll do maybe like 10 seconds. And for the first image, we're going to do a 0-second delay. And we're going to run once, and we're going to add 2 effects. One to move everything vertical, and we're just going to make this like 3000 for now. And then we also want the books to fade out as they go down the page. So we're going to reverse these to be 1 and then 0. And let's just update that preset. So now we have to go through and add on that animation to each image. So we'll select our preset, and I'm going to add a 1-second delay to this one. Two-second delay here. And the reason why I'm not updating this is because if I update the preset, it will update the delay across all of them. So I want different staggered delays. So this part is a little tedious, but necessary. All right, and we'll leave that as 0. So now let's reload our page and let's preview it now. So as you can see, everything's following at a different delay, but we kind of want it to look more like this, where it's falling from the top of the browser. So let's go ahead and move this frame a little bit to the top here and preview it again. So you'll notice that this picture is falling, but none of the others are. And that's because at least some of each photo needs to be in the browser view to trigger that animation. So now we're going to make it to where each photo, is kind of on this bottom line here. And the delay will take care of them being all on top of each other. Now that we have all of these along a bottom border, let's move everything up again and preview our site. So that seems to work, but it's not ideal that you see a little bit of all these images while there's a delay. So the last thing we're going to do here is we are going to add a frame that's the same color as this background to cover this part. So we will add a frame and we're just gonna have it across here and give it a color of that background. We'll just move it up a little bit. And now let's preview again. So that looks a little cleaner than what we had before. So now let's go ahead and add that New York Times Book Club title here. So I'm going to upload that logo. Select it and I'll just put it here. And then we'll do a text block. And we're just going to do a B for now. Let's go ahead and make this a bit bigger. And we want that pink color. So going back to the New York Times site, let's grab that color. And let's come and add it here. And we also want a different kind of font to match that New York Times font. So we'll go into more fonts and let's look for something like Playfair. And we'll use this one. So we'll go back into here and then change that to Playfair. Great. So let's move this up a little. And now we need to add in this little book here. Put that here. And we'll copy this element and paste it over. And do the rest of that book club. Just shorten that. Oops. There we go. Down a little. There we go. So now we have that. Let's go ahead and grab that little tagline here. Copy that. And we'll add one more text element here and paste that and center it. So zooming out a little bit, so now let's make this a little smaller. Move that over the book. And let's go ahead and group these elements together. Let's center it a little bit. Let's preview this. All right, so that's looking good. And now let's grab this little arrow. So let's add a shape. We'll go with this one. And we'll put it here. And make it that pink color. And now we're ready to add the rest of this section. And so we have all these books and pictures falling down this entire blue part. So to get the same effect, we are going to work within the same section versus creating a new one. So we're actually going to change the height of this to be like 3000 for now. And then we will add in that text. So let's go back to the New York Times and copy this font and add a text element and paste everything there and center it. And now we need a button. Let's search for a button and we'll do a link. So first let's go and get that RSVP link and double click on this button element. And we're going to make it an external link type. We'll paste in that URL here and open a page in a new tab. And then we'll change this text to say RSVP. And we want to capture that blue color. So let's get our color picker and grab it. And we'll add it here. And we'll make our text bold. And then we need to make it more of a square button than a round one. So we'll click on this border radius and we'll make this 0. Whoops. And unlock that. So now we have our button here. So let's go ahead and preview this now that we have our new part of that section. So we have our books here, and as we scroll, those books follow. Great. So we probably didn't need to make it 3000 pixels, so maybe we can change this to, so let's change it to like 1400. That should work. So let's preview that. There we go. Great. So now that we've created our first section, we're going to move on in the next video to doing the second part of the New York Times Book Club website.